is to get is to create what we call a pond water overflow. Quite a number of times in the tropical areas, and even of course in temperate areas, you see rainfall when the ponds are open, and then you end up when the fish ponds are open, and then you discover that when rain falls, the water spills over, and then the whole fish pond water begins to flow over like a spillway, and some of the smart fishes just bend themselves, and out there on the floor are tens of fishes. So what you do is to create an overflow using a 3/4 inch pipe, or even an half inch is okay, and then you try to put it just about at the base of the last coach of the cinder block, so that when the water begins to pile up, naturally the fish will gallivant towards where the water is flowing out, but then they just make just two tiny holes out there that's already meshed with a screen, and that makes it easy for them to really flow out, and then your water is the fish pond water is never filled up. Now, but to get this, it's more of a small art. There's a little bit of science with it, as you can see from the man, the technician that is Mason that's doing the work out there. Now he's trying to use a plumb line to be sure that the water flows at the same level for the two outlets, so you don't have one doing too much work at the expense of the other. Okay, is it getting okay now? Have you gotten the plumb line?
Yes.
Okay, that's all right. I wonder why he's not looking at us, but then what we need is a project to see that it's running on properly. This pond is about to be plastered too, so you do this before you plaster your pond. Now what he does is to cut the pipe out there and then fix it inside. So we'll take a look at the other side of the pond to see what it looks like on the outside. Yeah. If you look at, they all look like one straight level plumb, right, to allow water to flow down, and then that's the one at the base is the outflow to release water when you're changing water in the pond. It's to put a little bit of shock in between so that they can stay there firm, and then here we have, that's the finished job before plastering is done. It's time to floor the ponds now. Now we look at you've got to have at least about 4 inch of plaster cement on the floor, apart from the German floor that has been created already. Remember to block off your outlet so that you can have access to your flooding. Your outlet is not blocked at all. The pond on your left of your screen, you can see it's ready with his own pipe. On the other side to the pipe is there. Now 2 ponds are going on simultaneously. You see, check out for stones, cobbles and the rest, just like we did for the vertical walls. And then the bricklayer will figure out how you get out of the pond without really messing up with the finishing of the pool. Let's look at what the other bricklayer is doing on the other side too. He is building, you see, from the axis up, and then gradually he will finish up too and find his way out too, like the other fellow on the other side. To make the work easier, they've been loaded with cement from a wheelbarrow right in there. And that's a young supporter there, trying to support his brother who is doing the cement works. Just like a football fan will assist the players from the players to play very well. Probably like a small motivation. This is one of the top secrets in the plastering world. Now, in order not to have the edge of the pond creeding, what you do is to get a polythene sheet and then try to create a a smooth edge all around the top edges of the pond to prevent the thing from breaking into small bits. What you could probably call it erosion, but just to remove sharp edges and make the whole thing smooth, just like you have the smooth edges of all the polymer cast that you have around now. And that's what the bricklayer is trying to do now, using the polythene, and that's what brings out a smooth, perfect job. But the other guy here, his name is Sean, right? He is still some minutes or some hours back. Once he's through with the final finishing of the north and the east walls, then he can start off with his own rounding up of the edges. Now you observe one thing too: the extreme edge of the vertical edge of the poles are not that razor cut sharp 90 degrees edge. There's a little bit of smoothing at the edge there to prevent, for two things. One, to prevent water from exerting pressure in that area, creating one of the first loopholes for leakage. Then number two, gives the fish the impression of being in a large expanse of water. Very reduced sharp edges, makes the fish to feel at home much more. One final look at what he's doing in here. Yeah, this is real cottage. Rather than use all those complex mechanical device, he just improvised his own water sachet polythene, and he's doing a good job out of it. Now if you want to know more about how to construct a fish pond with a little bit of local knowledge without having to go to do some bits of civil engineering, then just check out the website mrfishworldng.com, www.mrfishw0rldng.com, or just call this number 234-803-71-89694. You're welcome. So you get full information on how to construct your fish pond so that it will not leak, seep, or crack, which is a major problem with most fish ponds constructed all over Africa. We're waiting for you. Plastering of about 3 unit ponds all at the same time. Now right from this one, the one at extreme edge is done almost 7 days now. The polythene has been removed from it, while the one done right now, the second one, is covered already with polythene, haven't been completely finished, while the third one is being floored. Now the covering is important so as to prevent quick dehydration of the cement. Now, and the fourth one is still right on the screening. Now if you look at the young man on the extreme there, he is now putting the mortar one by one. Okay, I think there's some lessons in bricklaying. A typical bricklayer can actually do this, but what's more important is the finishing, like it's been done by the young man on the left. So now on the right hand, okay, on the left of the screen, and then if you look at the middle row, you will see even though a beam is not being used for the block pond, because it's in that block that is vibrating. So what he just done is that broken blocks are put in the middle to be able to make it easy to actually level the surface. I think we'll see the effect of the covering much later. Well, if we're in a hurry to see, let's look at the ones that was done a few 7 days earlier. That's the one on the other side there. You see that it's completely smooth. Now if you want to get your pond done in a professional way like this, you can get in contact with Mr. Fish on www.mrfishworldng.com, or you can call 234-803-71-89694. Thanks for watching. Well, the final lap in the construction of a fish pond, so that it's not leak, seep, or crack. It's what you're looking at just right now. Now, the first step, like I said, like I've said in former postings, is that you make sure you mix up the aggregates. Then 2, you go ahead and make sure you mix it together in the right proportions. The sand, sharp sand, the plaster sand with the waterproof cement, and then you mix the right proportion of water so that you can have a proper mixing of the cement with the to create a consistent paste. Now, after having plastered, the next thing is to make sure you allow the cement to dry very slowly, because here we are dealing with you want to deal with a cement that will have both strength and flexibility. To make a cement flexible, the cement will develop flexibility when you allow it to dry very slowly. And to make that happen, you either use burlap sacks that they use in carrying cocoa beans, or you use this polythene bags that you can see right there that's being used to cover it up. Now, the whole idea is to make it dry slowly, so that when you put water, as the cement expands, the pond expands a little, it will, and contracts when you remove water, it will not crack. So, happens to be a benefit is the fact that you wouldn't see tiny airline cracks after the pond is dried up, because it's tiny airline cracks that actually allow water to seep into the interstitious places, if you permit me to use that word, within the cement. And when you now remove water, maybe during the first harvest or grading, the water that has gone inside the different cracks, what the water will do is it will begin to expand, because water expands with increased heat. And then when you now put the next, so the tiny airline crack begin to get fat. When you now put the next water, the so-called airline cracks have become a little bit of a thread-like cracks now, and then you see the pond leaking or seeping, sweating at the outside there about. But you prevent a whole lot of trouble when you do this. Of course, eventually you have your pond lasting almost close to 50 years, and that's why you can't beat a block pond that is well plastered. You can't compare it with the other kind of fish ponds like the leather and plastics. Okay, here's an example of the leather tank I'm talking about. Here's an example of the leather vat I'm talking about. The one in the foreground is a leather vat, while the ones on the sides are the plastics. They all have their own advantages, but a shorter lifespan. A concrete or block pond will last you 50 years. The leather one, with good management, could go between 5 to 10 years, while the plastics do almost about the same thing if you make sure you shade it and you maintain it properly. But everybody has an advantage and, of course, demerits. So you got your choice. But if you're interested in working out and constructing a perfect block pond that will not leak, seep, or crack, then just get more details at www.mrfishworld.com. That's MRFISHWORLDNG.com. Or you can call Mr. Fish on this number 234 080 371 89694. Now, you can call either to upgrade the already cracked ponds, or the one that is leaking, or the one that is seeping. We're there to help you out and give you instructions as well, make it last a lifetime. And if you're starting anew, I think I'll advise you do it right the first time. If that's what your intention is, then you're welcome to our world. We're there to help you out.